If the cake turns out ugly, then I'm simply sticking to what I know and I'm never trying anything new ever again. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda and today's recipe is highly anticipated. At least anticipated by me. I don't know about anybody else, but I've been anticipating this one. If you're a returning subscriber, you probably know what's going on, but if you're new here, my name is Amanda and my birthday is in March. I'm an Aries. Usually every March, I'll do some kind of like birthday cake celebration thing or whatever to celebrate my birthday. Mostly just because like, why not? I think it's fun to celebrate yourself. I think making your own birthday cake is kind of the ultimate act of taking like kindness to yourself or something, whatever, I don't know. Also, it's fun because every year I'm kind of like into something different and craving something different. Last year was a no-bake cheesecake, which was super delicious and super fresh. And the year before that was, I believe, a brown butter cake with like a honey Swiss meringue. So it's really fun for me to kind of look back on birthdays past and kind of what I've been into, like food-wise and baking-wise, and kind of just what I've been wanting to make for myself. So this year's cake is a pistachio carrot cake. I love carrot cake. I think it's one of the best flavor options for a cake that you could possibly get. It's not too sweet. It's always super moist and super tender, and it always goes with that really nice classic cream cheese frosting that is like tangy and rich and delicious. But we have plenty of twists in store for this cake just because it's me and apparently I can't do anything straightforward. This cake is also going to look different. I'm doing something different visually with it. It's baked in a 13x9 and then cut into 4 layers. I did that because I wanted it to like look kind of different. I didn't want it to just be like a classic round cake, but also I thought that it would be nice to give you guys the option of having this just be a sheet cake if you wanted to be kind of like not invested in making a full layer cake. So if you want to make this just as a sheet cake and just top it and serve it that way, totally doable. I'm also trying a new decorating style with this cake that I love but have personally never done before, so this is going to be a learning experience for everybody today. There isn't a filling per se on this cake just because we have so much going on in the cake itself, and I really wanted that to be the star of the show. However, I do think something bright like a marmalade or a jam or even like a citrus curd of some kind I think would be super delicious, and if you try that out, definitely let me know. But this time we're sticking to just cake and frosting. I'm reining it in a little bit, and I think it's still going to be something really special. So we're going to grab our bowls and our whisks and 13x9 pan and get started on the star of the show, which is the carrot cake. All right, so our wet ingredients are obviously going to start with sugar, and I'm going to add some vegetable oil, adding some eggs. God, that yolk is huge. Right? Like, I'm not crazy. That yolk is huge. Okay, maybe that one is just really small. Sorry, I don't want to get existential about eggs in this economy, but that is crazy. I'm doing sour cream in here instead of something like buttermilk because I still want that tang that you would get from buttermilk. Also, I need to be able to activate the baking soda, but I really wanted this cake to have really good structure, and I didn't want to add anything that would kind of thin out the batter or water it down. But you can also use Greek yogurt here too. All right, so now I'm just gonna bring in our flour mixture and gradually add that. Now that everything is almost completely combined, I'm gonna go ahead and add the mix-ins. Okay, so let's talk about mix-ins for a carrot cake and some options you might have. The only real rule about carrot cake is that you have to add carrots into the cake. Otherwise, some people like to add a ton of different mix-ins like nuts or dried fruit, coconut, stuff like that. And some people are purists and really just want the carrots in there. Personally, I'm not opposed to mix-ins. There are some that I hate and will not add to a carrot cake. There are some that I think add like a really nice texture and like kind of like depth of flavor. I will say that with the mix-ins, there is such a thing as too much. A carrot cake is a much more tender cake than something like a fruit cake. With a fruit cake, that is like mostly mix-ins and some cake that's really dense and holds on to everything when you cut it. A carrot cake is super tender, so if you add too many mix-ins to it, when you go to cut it, it's just gonna fall apart. So if you have a carrot cake recipe that you like and you want to switch up the mix-ins, absolutely do that, but maybe stay within the like given measurement that the recipe states. Now with the carrots specifically, I know that it's kind of annoying to have to shred like nearly a pound of carrots, but you really cannot use pre-shredded carrots. Pre-shredded carrots are really dry just because of like the packaging and how long they've been sitting in the refrigerator shredded like that. Part of the reason why carrot cakes are so moist is because when you add the carrots in, they're also lending a lot of the moisture and the liquid that that vegetable holds. So if you use pre-shredded carrots, you're probably gonna end up with something really, really dry and perhaps a little bit crumbly. As tempting as it is, do not use pre-shredded carrots. When you go to shred your carrots, you're probably gonna be using something like this. This is a box grater. Most households have one of these. It has 4 sides for 4 different uses. Most people when they go to like make carrot cake would use the larger holes, which is usually what I use with most of my carrot cakes, like my regular layered carrot cakes. For this recipe though, I'm gonna ask you to use the smaller holes to give you more of like a fine shred. Some people really don't like the stringy like big pieces of carrot. We still get the flavor and the moisture from the carrots, but it mixes in more evenly and you kind of don't get those big stringy pieces or chunks. Another reason is because this cake, we are going to be like cutting it multiple times and stacking it. Obviously you cut any cake that you make, but with this one, because the structure is so important and I want to make sure that it's not super crumbly, I want to make sure that it's pretty stable and like structurally sound. I really didn't want like those stringy pieces of carrot falling out when I go to cut the cake. If all you have is a grater with the larger holes, that's totally fine. Like I said, most of my carrot cakes are made using carrots that size, but I really think that you'll notice a difference and it'll be super beneficial if you go to use the smaller ones. The only other mix-in I have today is pistachios. I didn't want to go too crazy with the mix-ins. I just went with pistachios just because I think that they're underutilized in carrot cake and the combination is really, really delicious. But if you don't want to use pistachios or can't get pistachios or whatever reason, you can absolutely swap it out with like pecans or walnuts or anything like that. Okay, so just to talk for a second about this luxurious frosting we've just made. If you know how to make whipped cream, and I'm assuming you do, you know how to make whipped mascarpone. Whipped cream, chantilly cream as it is regularly, is just heavy whipping cream or double cream or whatever that you sweeten and aerate so that you get like, you know, whipped cream. It's very fluffy, it's very light, it's not super sweet, and it's great as a topping for things. But if you try to use just regular whipped cream like a frosting or as a filling for something, it's not very stable. It won't hold your cakes very well, it'll kind of fall apart, maybe it'll start weeping. So sometimes people will add like a cornstarch slurry. Another way to stabilize a whipped cream is to add something that has more fat in it. For example, like cream cheese or mascarpone in this this case. The extra fat kind of helps to support whipped cream and hold on to that air. Because of the extra fat, it's more stable, it's creamier, it has like a better mouthfeel, a little more luxurious. You actually really don't need that much cream cheese to stabilize whipped cream. It's usually about 4 ounces per cup of heavy whipping cream, so it's not much at all. With this, with the mascarpone, since mascarpone is softer and also I want more of that flavor, we are doubling that. So it's 1 container, 1 whole 8-ounce container of mascarpone for about 1.5 cups of whipped cream. The easiest way to add the mascarpone or the cream cheese to your whipped cream, rather than making your whipped cream and trying to beat in your mascarpone, you could get lumps that way, or you could overbeat your whipped cream. It's just not like an easy way to do it. If you beat your mascarpone and sugar together first, or your cream cheese and your sugar together first, it'll smooth it out and kind of loosen it, I guess. Add your heavy whipping cream. Make sure you don't add all of it all at once. Add a little bit at a time just to really like loosen up the mascarpone or the cream cheese. Scrape down your bowl really, really well, because otherwise you'll get lumps. And then very slowly but surely increase your mixer speed and beat your whipped cream until you hit the peaks you desire. So for this one, we're doing stiff peaks because we want to be able to frost and decorate and stuff with it. And the great thing about it is cream cheese, you do have to let it sit out for a little bit, like, I don't know, like 10-15 minutes just to soften it up a little bit. Mascarpone, use fridge cold. Mascarpone is already really, really soft, and if you let it sit out at room temperature it'll get too soft, and you beating it will actually cause it to like split and get really grainy. So just go ahead and use the mascarpone cold heavy whipping cream, everything cold, and you'll have luxurious, delicious whipped mascarpone. So this stuff is really stable. You can stack a cake with it, you can frost cupcakes with it. Now that that's ready, I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the cake. We are cutting the 13 by 9 into 4 pieces. So we're cutting it in half vertically and horizontally, and those will be our 4 cake layers. We'll stack with the mascarpone. I'm gonna do a crumb coat just to make sure that it's like super chilled and stable. We're gonna have some fun with decorating. So it's finally time to decorate this cake, and I'm going for a style that I don't think I've ever done before, but I'm very into right now. I think I've said it before, cake decorating is not my forte. I can definitely do very basic, like I can do a very smooth ice, I can do a border, and I can write on a cake. But that's pretty much all I can do. I can't do anything like fancy, like any like intricate pipe work. But when it's your birthday, you still want to do something special. And I'm tired of doing just like naked cakes and calling it good. There's a style of cake that I don't actually know if there's like a name for it. When I look it up, I usually just look up botanical cakes. I don't know if that's like the official title of it. The style of decorating is very fun and creative and organic, and it's something that I feel like if you're not super strong on cake decorating, I think is a really great thing to try out, because you don't really need even pipe work. You don't really need anything to be super clean cut. You kind of want it to be a little bit messy. A ton of people that I follow on Instagram specialize in this style of cake. They are so talented. I know that on the surface it may seem like you don't really need a lot of skill to do this kind of cake decorating. I mean, there is a certain level of like, it doesn't have to be even. It's very organic, it's very fun, but you do need to still be able to make a solid base. There's a lot of like composition that goes with it, color stories, and it's very fun. But if you're not super confident in making like a super clean cake, so it's something that I'm trying today. I reserved a little bit of the whipped mascarpone and put it into some piping bags. For this cake, I'm using a French star tip and a regular petal tip. I love garnishing with things that are representative of what's in this cake, so I made some little like carrots, roses. Basically all I did was I peeled a carrot into really thin strips just with a vegetable peeler, nothing crazy, and I blanched them. So putting them in some lightly salted boiling water for like 1 to 2 minutes, and then immediately dunking them in ice water. This preserves their texture and their color so that when you're doing something like this, they don't get like wilty and mushy and brown. People often talk about not liking florals or inedible garnishes on things, and I typically am very anti inedible garnish. Don't put a cinnamon stick on something. I can't eat it. I just have to pick it off and then do what with it? For something like this, people put florals on their wedding cakes all the time. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, it's great if you're using an edible floral, and I do think you should make sure that your florals are clean, and not just like putting dirt in your cake. Anything that's inside the cake can go on top of it. So nuts and mix-ins like we have in this cake, or curds and fillings, anything that's gonna bring some color or some interest to the top of your cake, I think would be fun. I am just gonna lay everything out, get everything set, and just kind of like see what feels right as we decorate. Okay guys, the cake is done, the cake is ready, and I am so happy with how it turned out. I've made more than one birthday cake for myself over the years, and I think that this is my best one yet. I did, like, while I was taking photos, I realized that I forgot to put chopped pistachios on the cake, which was totally a missed opportunity, and I'm so annoyed about it, but whatever. Oh my god, it's so beautiful! I pulled some flowers out of a bouquet that I have, and it's so funny that the colors in the bouquet just worked so perfectly for this cake. I totally did not buy it with this in mind, but it worked out so well. The cake is so delicious. It's moist and tender, and it has a really nice balance of spices, but it doesn't read like heavy fall wintry. It's so good. This is absolutely gonna be my go-to carrot cake recipe forever, probably. If you do want to make this and you don't want to stack it the way that I did, you just want to use it as like a 13x9 sheet cake, you do not need as much of the frosting as is what's going to be in the recipe. You can probably cut it in half, to be honest, unless you really like whipped mascarpone, then make it all. It's so delicious, and it goes so well with the carrot cake. I'm over the moon. It tastes so good. Hold on. You still have the flecks of carrot, and you get like the flavor and the moisture from them, but you don't get any of those like stringy bits. So I definitely think that grating on the smaller setting makes such a big difference. Is the very top layer much thinner than the layer that's second from the top? Yes. Does it matter? No. I'm also really happy with how it looks and how I decorated it. I'm so into it. A really nice, crisp, smooth base, and then I could just totally have fun and do whatever I wanted with the rest of it. And it was so great. So by the time you see this video, I will have turned 27, so I'm officially in my late 20s. Happy birthday to the rest of my March babies. I hope you guys are being celebrated exactly like you should be. You don't have anybody who is gonna make you a birthday cake. You can do exactly what I've done and just make your own and celebrate with yourself, because you've made it this far, and that is something worth celebrating. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for celebrating my birthday with me. The full recipe and method of prep will be linked on my site, which will be down below. As well as all of my socials. So if you make this or any of my recipes, please tag me, please let me know. I love seeing that stuff. So leave a like down below and leave a comment. I want to know what your perfect birthday cake is. Is it like a funfetti? Is it a chocolate? Do you like carrot cake too? Or do you even like cake for your birthday? Are you like a pie person? Let me know. And with that, I hope you're all being kind to yourselves and you are happy and safe wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.